Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, a new annual pass option is coming to Disneyland Resort, plus a whole new version of A Whole New World. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
This past week, Disney announced a huge lineup of future movie releases. In that lineup, we learned about 3 more Star Wars movies coming our way starting in 2022. Of course, these 3 films will be part of a new trilogy as the Skywalker saga wraps up this upcoming December. We also learned that the 4 new Avatar movies coming our way will begin their run in 2021. Here's a selection of other films Disney has announced starting with next year. In March of 2020, we get the Disney Pixar movie Onward. In March 2020, we get the live-action Mulan. And then in July of 2020, we get the live-action Jungle Cruise film. In December of 2020, Fox, which of course is now released by Disney, is releasing Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. That one I'm very curious about. In December of 2020 also, we get Cruella, the live-action film about Cruella de Vil. And then in July of 2021, we're being promised Indiana Jones 5, another Steven Spielberg movie. This is just a small sampling of the films that Disney has in their release lineup. Of course, there are many more considering that Disney now releases films from Walt Disney Pictures, Lucasfilm, Marvel, and now Fox. It's been a tradition for a while now that Disney will often take a song from their movie musicals and have a famous singer perform a version of one of the film's songs to play over the credits of the movie. In 1992, A Whole New World was made famous in the Walt Disney Animation classic Aladdin, and for the credits of the movie, they played a radio version of the song sung by Peabo Bryson and Regina Belle. Well, now in 2019, with a new version of Aladdin heading our way, that means a new pop version of the song is needed. This time, Disney went to Zayn of One Direction fame and Xavier Ward for their latest version of the song. The official music video was released this past week. I personally enjoyed this rendition of the song for what it was, but it is heavily auto-tuned. I'm not quite sure what the actual video was trying to say or do, but that's a whole other thing. In general, most people on social media seem to enjoy this updated version of the classic song. In fact, this song is the best buzz that the upcoming live-action Aladdin seems to be getting. Avengers Endgame continues to dominate at the box office, so much so that Endgame is now the second highest grossing movie of all time, with a total of over $2 billion. The only movie ahead of it is Avatar, owned by Fox and therefore now a Disney movie. The most impressive part of this statistic to me is that they reached this record in only 11 days of theatrical release. Now let's head into the parks with some Marvel news, where over at Disney California Adventure, Tom Holland and the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home surprised guests during a photo op. Park guests were taking photos with the DCA Spider-Man, as is available every day at Disney California Adventure, but then Zendaya, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Jacob Batalon photobombed the group's photo. That was followed by the epic moment where Spider-Man took his mask off to reveal that it was the Spider-Man, Tom Holland in the suit the whole time. That really was pretty darn cool. First Johnny Depp in Pirates, then Mark Hamill visiting Star Tours, and now the cast of Spider-Man at DCA. I can't wait for the Patrick Warburton surprise coming to Soarin'. Surely that'll happen, right? The Disneyland Resort has announced a new annual pass designed to alleviate and predict crowds in the parks. The new annual pass is called the Disney Flex Passport. Here's how Disney Parks blog describes it. As our theme parks have increased in popularity, more and more guests wish to experience the resort's uniquely Disney magic. That's why we are introducing a reservation system through Disney Flex Passport. We're always considering new ways to consider to deliver a world-class guest experience, and introducing a reservation system will allow us to continue that legacy while better distributing attendance throughout the year. Starting May 21st, guests can purchase the Disney Flex Passport, which offers multiple ways to visit Disneyland Resort, combining value and flexibility. Flex Pass holders will have the opportunity to access one or both Disneyland Park and the Disney California Adventure Park on select good-to-go days with limited blockout days, plus make reservations on other days for more access. Plans can be managed through the website and the Disneyland app, where they can access an interactive calendar and book a reservation. Guests can hold 2 reservation days up to 30 days in advance with the new passport, while also enjoying good-to-go days. Providing guests with options that meet their budgets, including a monthly payment plan for California residents, continues to be a priority for Disneyland Resort. Disney Flex Passport also includes benefits such as dining and merchandise discounts. The number of reservations available each day is limited. Theme park admission and access to experiences and services may be restricted or unavailable due to capacity. This pass will be available for $599 per person. Now, this sounds like a really interesting and creative way to handle the ever-growing crowds at Disneyland Resort. I'll be curious to see whether or not it works and how popular the pass is. Of course, the overcrowding still not utilized simple solution remains to just get rid of the payment plan. I genuinely am curious to see whether or not this works, but I applaud them for thinking outside of the box on this one instead of just raising the AP prices again. As theme parks keep getting more and more popular, it really is extremely helpful for individual parks to know their expected attendance for the day. I like the idea of guests being quote-unquote rewarded for letting them know which park they'll be attending on a specific date. At the 2017 D23 Expo, it was announced that Epcot would be getting a space-themed restaurant located next to Mission Space. The restaurant still doesn't have an official name, but Disney has announced that the restaurant is scheduled to open later this year. This restaurant promises to make you feel as if you're actually dining in space. I hope that Sunny Eclipse makes some sort of appearance there. The Eat to the Beat concert series lineup at Epcot has been announced beginning at the end of August. First up is a group that I'm a big fan of, the Plain White T's. They have a bunch of other great artists announced as well, including but not limited to Everclear, Sugar Ray, Baha Men, High Valley, Hanson, Boyz II Men, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and Disney's own a cappella group, D Capella. The best thing about this is that these concerts are included with your admission to Epcot. The Skyliner gondolas are nearing completion as they've now been unwrapped and have been seen soaring through the skies of Walt Disney World as they're being tested. The gondolas are wrapped in Disney graphics featuring their franchises like the Mickey Shorts, Peter Pan, Finding Nemo, Toy Story, Zootopia, Monsters Inc., Star Wars, Stitch, Winnie the Pooh, Coco, Guardians of the Galaxy, Beauty and the Beast, Wreck-It Ralph, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pirates of the Caribbean, the attraction, not Johnny Depp, The Haunted Mansion, Ratatouille, Moana, of course Frozen, and more. They look nice, and I'm sure that a lot of people use them as transportation from their hotel to Epcot and or Disney's Hollywood Studios, but I've got to be honest, I don't think I'll ever use them. I'm not terribly fearful of heights, but the Florida weather of frequent high winds and unexpected rainstorms would make me a bit uneasy if I were dangling up in the air. I'll be curious to see how often the system needs to be shut down due to weather, and also whether or not it will cause problems for people already up in the air if the weather moves in quickly. Perhaps I'm being a bit overly cautious here, but I wonder if the Skyliner will have barf bags like the Sunwheel, Mickey's Fun Wheel, Pixar Pal-Around situation. Also, since the gondolas only go to Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, at least for now, I wish that the characters and franchises featured on the gondolas were specific to those parks. In a lot of cases they are, but as much as I like the Pirates or Haunted Mansion designs, it does feel a bit out of place to me. But hey, even though I'm not excited to ride them, I think that anything providing more options to get around the resort is a good thing. On the water will always be my first choice. Magic bands have been around for a while now and have become an integral part of your Walt Disney World vacation. Even before the vacation starts, the anticipation begins as you wait for your magic band to arrive at your house. Since Magic Bands began, you've always been delivered a free, solid-colored Magic Band, but now you have more options with an upgrade fee. Collecting differently designed and special edition Magic Bands available for sale in the parks have become almost as popular as pin collecting. Pretty soon, Walt Disney World Resort guests and annual pass holders will be able to purchase with a discount 30 different design options for your Magic Band. But don't worry, the complimentary solid-colored Magic Bands will still be available. I think that this is absolutely genius. I personally don't care about the character Magic Bands, I actually prefer the solid color, but I feel like there are probably a lot of people who get the free Magic Band and might see a character or attraction Magic Band in the park later on during their vacation, but decide not to purchase it since they already have one that was no cost to them. By offering these designed Magic Bands before you get your hands on a free one, I think that Magic Band sales will go through the roof. Pretty darn smart, Disney. Speaking of smart sales, it's no secret to Disney that there are lots of people creating Disney-inspired merchandise to sell on Etsy and other places online. In a lot of cases, I feel like some of the unofficial merch is even more popular than what the parks have to offer. But recently, Disney has really taken notice of this and have begun creating their own official merchandise with a very Etsy vibe to it. For years now, Disney has given away celebration buttons in the parks, whether it's for a birthday, graduation, wedding, or whatever you may be celebrating. Due to their popularity, a lot of folks began creating their own buttons celebrating their favorite attractions, characters, parodies, and more. But now Disney has begun selling these types of buttons in World of Disney. These buttons feature sayings like "Meet me at the People Mover," "I'm here for the Rose Gold," "Meet me at the Purple Wall," and famous lines from their attractions. Up until now, you could find these types of buttons for purchase online, but never exclusive ones from Disney. Well, the times have changed, and Disney has caught on that there's a lot of money to be had in buttons. That's going to do it for the news this week, so let's get to this week's Twitter poll. Now, on this past Wednesday's episode of Disney Coast to Coast, it was all about Indiana Jones' adventure at Disneyland Park. It's a great deep dive into that classic attraction, so if you haven't listened, make sure you go and do that. But I asked you guys in the Twitter poll, which scene in Indiana Jones' adventure, Temple of the Forbidden Eye, is your favorite? Your options were the Mara Hallway, Indy's first appearance, the bridge scene, or the Boulder Room. Now in last place was the Mara Hallway, where you look into her eyes. That got 8% of the votes. Then there was the Indy first appearance with 12% of the votes. The Boulder Room got 30% of the votes, and the bridge scene wins with 50% of the votes. I was a little bit surprised there. I thought the Boulder Room would win. If you'd like to take part in future Twitter polls, be sure to follow Disney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEYCTC. Also, be sure to head over to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and get your free gift of America's Hidden Mickeys. You can sign up for that there. You'll get a list of different locations around the USA featuring Disney that you may not know about. While you're there, all of our social media can be found over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com as well. I also want to say thank you to those of you who have been leaving those 5-star ratings on iTunes. I unfortunately don't know your names because I only see your username if you leave a review as well, but thank you anyway for the 5-star reviews. If you haven't done so yet, go to iTunes, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews, and help other Disney fans find the show more easily. Now, this episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, including early access to episodes, live stream Q&As, behind-the-scenes access, and more, information can be found at patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.